A very warm welcome to all of you. Your Excellency, Honorable, respected Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew, Your Excellency, Ambassadors of the United States, High Commissioners of Australia and High Commissioner of India, respected dignitaries, students, teachers, parents, and Mr. Narayana Murthy. Singapore, the name, is a combination of two Sanskrit words. Sinha, which means the lion, and Pura, which means the place. The linkages of Indian linguistic and cultural heritage are deep-rooted in the history of Singapore and Southeast Asia. The merlion that represents Singapore is a unique combination of a lion that represents strength and a fish that represents humility. The living together in peace and harmony is a concept that is called Singapore. Singapore is a mini world where people from all nations, from diverse religious and linguistic backgrounds, live together in peace and harmony. Singapore is a community which embodies the S+G formula, or Science plus Gandhi, for its technological, social, and economic advancements, and Gandhi for the peace and harmony that exists in Singapore community today. The S+G model has shown how technology has helped Singapore to achieve not only higher standards of living for every citizen, but also develop mutually and fraternity-based on technology. Singapore is a symbol of global and international relationship, and it is a country where culture of peace has been nurtured very carefully and developed. Singapore is a country which has no natural resources. Its biggest resource are its nature towards human beings. Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew is not only founding father of Singapore, but also in a sense a creator of a globe where people belonging to all nations, communities, and religions can live together in harmony. Therefore, today's event is very unique in every sense of the term because it will help to develop a better world. The world is one family, or Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, is a simple motto of our foundation in schools. We want to develop children from all backgrounds and nationalities with a global outlook, benchmark themselves against the international standards, and learn the element of duty and sacrifice from the Indian culture. We want the young to not only live in harmony as one family, but also live together as partners in peace. We want the youth to have respect for law and human civilization. We want the youth not only to be successful in their own lives, but also to make a difference to the less privileged and deprived so that they can succeed in their lives too. We want the youth to not only believe in coexistence, but also in mutual sharing. Today, the youth deservingly aspires for higher standards of living. But they have to understand that higher standards of spending is not equal to higher standards of living. And higher standards of luxury is not equal to happiness. Once Dr. Kalam, the former President of India, asked a question at a conference of some 2,000 non-resident Indians. How many of you have achieved higher standards of living? And as expected, some 80% of the hands went up. And then followed his next question, which stumped everyone. He said, how many of you have achieved happiness in life? Believe me, not more than 20% hands went up. That meant that achieving standards of living is not necessarily resulting in happiness. Mr. Murthy is one of the finest examples of simple living, higher thinking, and a happy human being. He does not believe in throwaway culture. He believes in technology and science with a human approach. Our next generation of children and youth have to learn many things from him. Education too is Mr. Murthy's passion. Sir, your work in educating children as a patron of Global Indian Foundation is very important in improving education in this part of the world as well as the other parts of the world. 5 years back when you mentioned to us that GIIS should become one of the top 5 Indian schools abroad or outside India, believe me, you triggered a hunger of excellence that gave our teachers and our teams a sense of pride and direction. Today, GI is perhaps one of the only schools which has focused heavily on education excellence. And the result in March 2009, GIIS Singapore won a national award for education excellence. The youth of today is not interested only in the means of livelihood, but also in the search of purpose of living. He is against the hypocrisy of the old generation and wants to establish a new world based on mutual relationship and fraternity. He wants a world where a person can get things who needs it, but not the one who, even if he doesn't need it, is willing to purchase it. He has his own blueprint of how the new world should be, and the society based on equality, fraternity, brotherhood, and global relationship. Education helps to seek obedience and discipline. It helps in thinking and establishing new values, but is opposed to stereotype lives. In substance, the youth wants a change of values and a better world for living together, irrespective of religion, irrespective of state barriers. And he has the capacity to ensure a better world for us. It is little wonder why today's youth is constructively seeking new ways of networking and the digital media, such as Facebook or Twitter, to seek a better understanding with their friends and peers and share their social experiences across various borders. The United Nations has declared a decade of peace and nonviolence for the children of the world. The culture of peace is the biggest challenge present before the elder generation. We request the elders across the world to also tell our other elder generations how they can help in creating a better world for the next generation. Civilization is that mode of conduct which points out a man the path of duty, performance of duty, and observance of morality, and are convertible terms. To observe morality is to attain mastery over mind and our passions, and in doing so, we know ourselves. For the betterment of life and betterment of culture, Mr. Murthy has used technology as a means to establish a familistic society. Mr. Murthy, your passion in continuing education through GIS and search for better world would certainly enrich the youth in becoming better citizens, which according to you is a hope of future world. This was the essence why you chose to do the international launch of your book, not in a 5-star hotel, but in a simple school. And this will establish the foundations of the students to become a better citizen. Let me also share with you, and I heard this from a very leading gentleman in Singapore, is that Lee has never done a book launch for anyone. Today is a historic day because not only is he doing a book launch for Mr. Murthy, it will be the first in his lifetime. A better India, a better world. A better India, a better world is a continuation of that process of education. The blueprint of this book we shall implement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. Our guest of honor, Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew, will be arriving shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor,